Hey, what's up, everybody? Silver's price is most certainly surging today, and on this video, I will be discussing why and what to potentially look out for next. If you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting that thumbs up button on the video and let me know your thoughts, your opinions in that comment section below. Yes, silver is up pretty big today. At the time of recording this video, silver is up 3.26% or up 87 cents to $27.38. Gold is up 1.03% or up $23.70 to $2,324.70. Palladium is also up. In fact, palladium is the biggest mover of the day and up by the most as I'm recording this video. Palladium is up 3.53% or up $33 to $1,007. Platinum is the only of these precious metals that is currently down or in the red. Not down by much, but it is down nonetheless. Platinum is down 0.31% or down $3 to $962. By the time I have this video edited and able to publish it, these prices will probably be different. They could be just slightly different or they could be a lot different. That's the nature of the markets. Markets move in both directions and sometimes rapidly. If you're watching this video the next day after this video was published on Tuesday, May the 7th, or maybe even further out, please don't forget to hit that notification bell on my channel so you're watching the most recent up-to-date video at the time of publish, or at least on the same day. Now, why are these markets up so big? The stock market's up, silver and gold is up, but why is everything up today? And that is the hope, and I'm going to give you my thoughts on this in just a moment, but it is the hope, in my opinion, that the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is going to start cutting rates sooner than later. And that hope comes from the jobs report that was released last week, Friday, on Friday, May the 3rd. I would like to reference two pieces. One is from CNBC and the other one is from Kitco News. And then I would like to also give you my own thoughts about it. But the CNBC article, very short article, is by Matt Clinch. It says Treasury yields slip as hopes for Fed rate cuts increases after latest U.S. jobs data. U.S. Treasury yields were lower Monday, adding to the decline seen Friday after April's jobs report showed weaker than expected payrolls growth. The yield on the 10-year Treasury was off 2 basis points at 4.481%. The 2-year Treasury yield slipped 1 basis point to 4.779%. Yields and prices move in opposite directions. 1 basis point is equivalent to 0.01%. U.S. payrolls rose just by 75,000 last month, the Bureau of Labor Statistics said on Friday, short of the Dow Jones estimate from economists of 240,000. The unemployment rate rose to 3.9% against the estimate that called for it to hold steady at 3.8%. Wage growth also less than expected, the report showed. I will say this about the jobs report, or more so the unemployment rate. And I don't know how accurate these numbers are and if these numbers are going to be revised upwards or downwards later. Like whenever the government gives you data like this, it usually is revised a month, 2 months later. But I will say about the unemployment number is, and I've referenced this in a number of videos when I discuss the markets, the jobs numbers, the unemployment number, or maybe even when I discuss the Federal Reserve and the FOMC meetings and what the Federal Reserve decides to do with the interest rates at that time. And they also, Jerome Powell has said numerous times in prior press conferences about softening the labor market. And we're seeing that softer labor market right now reflected in the unemployment number. And speaking of the unemployment number, and I've referenced this in many videos where I have seen many layoffs, friends, people who I work with at the company where I work, I have seen many layoffs, and in my opinion, it was only a matter of time until we started to see that reflected in the unemployment numbers. As painful as it may be, I do listen to most of Jerome Powell's press conferences, especially when it relates to the decision of the federal funds interest rates. And in most of those press conferences, especially when rates were being increased, he spoke about time and time again about how we need a softer labor market. Now he's talking about how we need maximum employment. Well, you can't have it both ways. A softer labor market and maximum employment, in my opinion. And right now we are seeing that softer labor market, and we're seeing that in the unemployment rate and less jobs. Now, you would think that more jobs and the lower the unemployment rate, the better. And I would say you're right, but that's not how the Federal Reserve looks at it, especially when they're, quote, and I'm doing those air quotes right now, battling inflation. Back to the CNBC article just briefly, and I have some major thoughts about this as well. Uncertainty about how many rate cuts, if any, that's the key, if any, will take place this year and when they might begin has grown in recent weeks, with many investors now expecting fewer cuts and not until later this year. Friday, weak labor reports could allow the Federal Reserve to move sooner to cut rates. Now, Jerome Powell, and I spoke about this on my video last week when I was talking about that press conference that Jerome Powell had on May the 1st. I did that video on May the 2nd. If you haven't seen that video, it is a 21-minute video, but I think it was well worth it if you did listen to that video, because it was all about what Jerome Powell said at that press conference. Many of you may not agree with him. You may not like him, and you may not like what he has to say, and maybe you don't want to listen to what he has to say. But what he has to say, the markets 100%, whether you agree with it or not, the markets listen and the markets move based on a number of different things. One is what these reports show, the jobs reports, CPI report, and what Jerome Powell has to say. And one of the points that he makes quite often in these press conferences, and he said it again on May the 1st, maybe not in these exact words, but sort of beating around the bush, interest rates will not start to be cut until inflation, and that is inflation going forward, not current prices when you go to the store and you go to buy your goods and your services and the prices are quite a bit up by much more than they were in 2021, now in 2024. That's not, in my opinion, what they're talking about. It's about prices moving forward, the rate of inflation moving forward. Something else you may not agree with, what the rate of inflation actually is, but it is the rate of inflation going forward back down to that 2% goal. Now, unless he's lying, very possible, unless he decides to do anything different from what he's been saying all this time. And if there's any confidence whatsoever in the Federal Reserve, and I use that word confidence very loosely, very lightly, but if there's any confidence whatsoever in the Federal Reserve, then he cannot cut rates until, at least on paper, until the rate of inflation, future inflation, is back down to 2%. Now, will that magic 2% number even happen? Your guess as good as mine. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Will we ever see that magic 2% inflation number? I don't know. I would like to reference just a little piece from a Kitco News article by Jim Wyckoff. Just want to touch on like one paragraph. I don't want this video to be too long, so I'm not going to read too much more than that. If you are still here watching this video at this point, I do thank you for your time for watching this video in just about its entirety. If you are still here, just say 2 words in the comment section. Just say still here, so I know who you are, so I can thank you personally in the comment section of this video. I know a lot of people may look at a video like this as boring, but for me, it's important, and I like to get this information out and share with you my thoughts, my opinions. As always, nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research, your own due diligence, and come to your own conclusions. With that being said, try not to FOMO. That fear of missing out is a very real thing. A lot of people think that just because the prices are surging, the prices are going up, they're never going to come back down. We always have them corrections. We always have them pullbacks. So try your very best, in my opinion, to not FOMO. Don't have that fear of missing out. It says good price gains for gold, silver amid better risk appetite. Risk appetite in the general marketplace has upticked the past couple weeks as geopolitical tensions have not escalated, and following last Friday's Goldilocks U.S. jobs that was not too hot and not too cold. Gold is also seeing underlying support from news reports and analyst notes that remind the marketplace of better central bank demand for gold seen in the past several months. Many in the marketplace think the central banks are the smart money in the marketplace. The key outside markets today is seeing the U.S. dollar index slightly up. Crude oil prices are higher and trading around $79 a barrel. The yield on the benchmark 10-year U.S. Treasury note is fetching 4.479%. The economic data due for release Monday includes Employment Trends Index and the Global Service Purchasing Managers Index, PMI. Earlier on this video, I said I was going to give you something to potentially watch out for, and that is going to be 2 dates this month. The first one is Tuesday, May the 14th, 2024. That will be the release of the PPI data, the Producer Price Index, at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Another important piece of data. Now, whether or not you believe the number that's released or not, that's a totally different story. However, that is something that is watched, something that is tracked to gauge whether or not maybe interest rates will start to be cut sooner or later, or if interest rates will be higher for longer, which Jerome Powell has said many, many times, higher for longer. So that will be the PPI data on Tuesday, May the 14th. Then another biggie is going to be the very next day, and that is Wednesday, May the 15th, 2024, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time, the CPI Consumer Price Index. Whether or not you believe the data that's released in the PPI data, the CPI data, the jobs reports, the unemployment report, separate issues altogether, separate issues, whether I believe it or you believe it. Those reports nor the markets don't care about my feelings or your feelings. It is what it is, and usually all the data later on, a month down the road, 2 months down the road, is revised, and it's revised for a reason. They're revised because those reports were incorrect in the first place, in my opinion. So regardless of our feelings and the books being cooked, those are the dates that each of those reports will be released on. What does the CME Group FedWatch tool say about the possibilities of rates being cut for each month upcoming in 2024? June 12th is when the announcement is for June, and it's showing a 91.3% chance as of recording this video about rates remaining unchanged in June. July is showing a 68.6% chance of rates remaining unchanged for the month of July. And in September, this is the one, in my opinion, to look out for. If rates are going to be cut at all, if they're only going to be cut once, this is the one where I believe that he may start cutting, at least cut once, before that event, that big event that's going to be happening here in the U.S. on Tuesday, November the 5th, 2024. And this is in September, on September the 18th. And currently the CME Group FedWatch tool is showing the greatest chance is rates to be cut by 0.25% or 25 basis points. And it's showing the possibility of that happening is 48.9%, 34.3% showing that rates will remain unchanged, and 15.7% possibility that rates will be cut by 50 basis points or 0.5%. Now, any of this information can change at any given time, so take all this information, all these possibilities with a grain of salt. This is a long time away. Even June is a long time away as I'm recording this video. Still about 37 days away. So June is a long time away, let alone July and September and November. I think, in my opinion, the CME Group FedWatch tool is a good tool to have, a good tool to use, but is more accurate, in my opinion, about a day before the announcement is made. Maybe not so much now. I've seen this change numerous times over the last several months and change by a lot. June used to show that there was going to be a 68% chance, a 70% chance, maybe even a greater percent chance that rates were going to be cut starting in June. Now it's over a 90% chance that rates will remain unchanged. So it's anybody's guess, speculation, when these rates will begin to be cut, if they will be cut at all in 2024 or if they will start to be cut in 2025. And that is exactly, in my opinion, what the markets are doing and what these analysts are doing and reporters are doing, speculating when the rates will begin to be cut, and they have been wrong. Oh, and by the way, I didn't mention it earlier when I was talking about the unemployment rate, but speaking of that unemployment rate, how will AI in the future affect that unemployment rate? I believe in the future, AI will have a great deal to do with that unemployment number and jobs. Kind of disturbing to think about, actually. I do appreciate everybody for taking time out of your day to watch this video, and I do hope you found this video enjoyable, entertaining, and informative. If you did, please hit that thumbs up button on the video. Let me know your thoughts, your opinions in that comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll talk to everybody on my next video. Thanks a lot, everyone.